他们一定打。
They have a very high CKPM. They kind of play messy games where they're constantly skirmishing and fighting, especially around the bot lane. If you're thinking about Mountain, then he really represents the Cinderhulk meta, the tanky bruiser type of junglers.
那 Mountain 平常在打野的时候，其实可以感觉得出来，他的计划是在游戏前他就计划好的，然后在游戏的过程中呢，他并不会有太大的临场反应。
我的打野风格是在游戏早期的时候，透过视野掌握对方的打野位置，然后发育好自身之后，扩大一些优势。
He does what he wants to do, and sometimes it's to the detriment to his team.
这次比赛，我觉得我需要更全面的去注意到我线上的每个的选手，对，我要时刻的观察他们需要什么，去帮助他们。我现在是右手，就是从我打 LoL 以来就有的伤，就是一个慢性的肌腱炎，然后后来是神经也开始发炎了，对，然后我复健其实就是我一个礼拜大概要去看2-3次的医生，对，然后平常练习的时候就是要多休息，然后要用热水冲这样。去年的时候我在台北狙击者队伍的时候，我印象很深刻的时候是在新加坡的时候，我们那时候打的是 S3的资格赛，对，我记得打到 BO5，然后那场我选了李欣，对，其实我一直印象很深刻，就是因为我的手伤，其实我那场玩的并不是那么的好，对我造成了很深的遗憾，因为那场我们输了。然后在今年我来到了 AHQ， 我一开始是在板凳的位置，然后一直到后来我出赛了，然后我一路就是跟着我的队友们，我们一路就是扣关斩将，对，到最后我们今年踏上了世界的舞台，然后我真的很开心，我今年可以站上这个舞台。
在每个选手的心中，应该都有同一个梦想，就是能够参与世界赛。
这次世界赛上，我觉得来自世界各地的每个打野都是一流的好手，所以我觉得我可能需要针对他们的一些弱点去突破。
我也很期待这2支队伍在世界舞台上面跟其他队伍发生的火花。
It is the ultimate stage. There is no higher competition. And I believe this is the stage where a lot of legends are born.
You know, the way they talk about Mountain, specifically how he comes into the game with a plan and can sometimes be to the detriment of his team, really speaks to the way of AHQ's playstyle in that they're slow to adapt. So when you come in with a plan and you're not very good at adapting on the fly, is obvious in the 2 games that they saw, in which they take a lot of time to understand how the games are going out, what the team compositions that the enemies bring out. And you know, that's a worrying thing for AHQ, that they're so slow to adapt. And I think that if IG just brings something fresh to the table, they might put up a good fight.
Well, that being said, yesterday AHQ did have a good come-from-behind win against Fnatic. So the question is whether or not they've found their form in this tournament and can kind of carry that momentum.
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. We saw Clement in that video, one of the LMS casters, talking about how Mountain is a player that is a Cinderhulk player, and yet he came out with a Rengar.
With the Rengar.
And looked very uncomfortable on it in the first game. Then they mixed it up. They went back to a more, what I imagine as more of an AHQ style, and then they pulled out a win here. That's what I want to see again. I think that this is where HQ is strong. Don't try and be something you're not.
And of course, Ziv has been performing very well for the team.
I have to say as well, like in terms for IG, I've been complaining a lot about their draft, but I think in this particular matchup, their draft is kind of clashes because Rookie has been blind picking these melee assassins in mid, and I think that is the matchup we have to watch: Westo versus Rookie, pretty much.
Well, let's pop over to IG then. Yesterday, again, a blunder for them. 0-2 now starting off the tournament, but there's still ways to go. They still have time.
If this matchup was in Twisted Treeline with only Cacao, Rookie, and Zatai, I would side with IG every single
time. All right, next year at Worlds, we'll have a separate 3v3 tournament.
But, I mean, I think they have to just figure out a way to isolate Kid and Kitties into something that is safe and can bring something to the team that doesn't require a lot of execution. Like, these guys are holding the team at Jana Corky. just play that. It's so easy.
I mean, they tried that last game when they picked Sivir, where basically they just needed Kid to hit his ult at the right times. He couldn't even really manage that because he was out of position using the On the Hunt just to run away. So in this matchup, when we compare these duo lanes, Kid and Kitties, Ann and Albus, look how well Ann and Albus played on that Jinx Tom Kench played in their last match versus Fnatic. This is something that no one else has shown yet. This is the AHQ special right now, and I want to see it again.
Yamato, real quick, I want you to elaborate on this mid lane matchup that you spoke of and what might be the key factors in it.
So, of course, we have these two teams that kind of have shown that they play around the mid lane and have these picks that are kind of uncommon. We see Echo blind pick. We've seen it a lot from the Chinese team, sure. But it has been not working simply because teams have been picking these range champions into it. And Westro has shown all the time he's been playing that Fizz. So I think these are these matchups that are very explosive and very dynamic. And those are the matchups that impact the game the most.
All right, well, maybe we'll keep our eyes focused on the mid lane then. The stage is set let's head inside Ladakh Pullman for the call.
My eyes are definitely going to be on that mid lane and whether or not Westall gets Fizz once again. Before we get into game, we do need to check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it is Invictus Gaming from China with Zitai, Kakao, Rookie in that mid lane. And of course, the two players that everyone's talking about, Kid and Kitties, with their coach, Sung Young Won.
And maybe not for the right reasons, unfortunately, for the bottom lane there. But on the side of AHQ Esports Club, the team that's not looking too bad here, moving to the end of the day. Ziv there in the top lane. We heard from Mountain earlier there in the feature. We'll see how he can play. Westor, the big player for this team out of the mid lane, on the AD carry with a great game yesterday. And there's, of course, Albus in support and their coach backstairs. Those are some great names.
Yeah, and we mentioned how Westor is the big player for AHQ, but really, I don't think that's necessarily true. He's a big name, but as far as the way they play, it just is totally around others. Like Ziv in their game yesterday, Ziv hard carried that game on Gnar.
Yeah.
As Gnar top lane, he did more damage than Westor's Fizz, two champions, even though all Westor seemed to be doing is try to do damage to Annie, like the whole game. And I really think this AHQ team is, almost Westor is the smallest player within the team.
And I'm extremely excited to see Ziv and Zitai do battle. They're 1 and 3 when it comes to CSD at 10. Their teams really enable them, really lean on them for victories, and we can see the Fizz and the Tom Kench. The fishy business is not happening today, gents.
Just get them away. I mean, we've got AHQ to win yesterday. We see more standard stuff from AHQ with Gangplank and Azir both banned away. This could leave certain picks open, so I wonder what IG have for their third ban. A third target ban would really send a message here, and IG certainly need a win now.
Well, AHQ has banned Azir in 29 of their last 30 games.
No, he's banned.
Lulu is
I
up.
didn't see him.
Lulu's up.
Lulu is up. We got you. We got you.
Oh my goodness, how are they not talking about this? Because he's banned, chat.
Well, at least actually the first pick from Invictus Gaming, so Lulu open for AHQ if they want to take it up. IG certainly can play Lulu as far as Chinese teams go. It's probably not Rookie or Zatai's favorite champion because it's not very aggressive. They're very aggressive players, but certainly an option here for IG.
Yeah, it's interesting. I liked how IG is so heavily just target banning things that did well for AHQ yesterday. And Westor's not the type of player to play the Lulu as well as Ziv wants to carry the game, and he's not going to be able to do that on Lulu. Therefore, it does let IG do the same thing. Maybe we see a carry top from Zatai and a Lulu in the mid lane from Rookie. That could be the strongest thing for them to do.
All right, we'll see if Invictus agree. For AHQ, taking a look at the Tristana, it was the Tristana that actually helped beat Invictus when it was in the hands of Sneaky. Invictus Gaming got pushed around by Sneaky and Lemon, and that Tristana got so big. They will swap away.
Oh! That.
So it will be the Tristana, and that will be in Anne's hands.
Maybe they actually couldn't decide, and they said just cycle them until it locks in one of them, man. Because that was the latest switch back to a champion that I'd ever seen, really, at Worlds for sure. But they go for Trist.
I'd like to not see Bod again from Kitties. I think yesterday it did not offer a whole lot.
Yeah, we didn't see him yesterday either. He was nowhere to be found on the map.
There we go. That's basically what it felt like. And it was frustrating, especially talking to Crappo after the game regarding all the possibilities, the things that could have happened. So for Kitties, maybe taking that Thresh will also deny from Albus, as we've seen, already shown and already played.
I think in general, IG just want to play around Rookie and Kakao. That's back to basics really for this team. They need to try and pick up a win. They haven't got one yet here. Chinese teams in the first half of groups really not doing very well. They're going to go with Shen and Kalista though, so very safe as a tie, sticking to tanks again.
Yeah, unless it's another support Shen, that's a possibility. It's definitely still a flex pick. So IG really keeping their options open. I like the Kalista for now, but unfortunately that is on what has been a weakness for IG so far, Worlds.
There are so few flex picks left. It's nice to have that, but with Braum still up and available, you have to think somebody's going to grab that, or at least think about it. Such a powerful support pick on this patch.
Important to note as well that Lulu might actually drop through this draft with the way these players like to play. I feel like Westo, like you mentioned, Jack, isn't going to be a player to pick it up here. And Rookie might just want to be like, you know what, if you're taking an aggressive champion, best believe I'm taking an aggressive champion.
Especially with Shen already locked in.
Yeah.
Like, how heavy would you want to go in to protect the kid team composition? It just seems highly unlikely, so I think you're absolutely right about that, Pastry.
Well, that's Thresh. Actually picked already, I believe, for AHQ, so
locked in.
Did want that. Clearly a comfort for Albus, and Westor needs an assassin, does find Ari as his champion.
Going back to a safer pick maybe than that Fizz. Something that he has played most recently in the summer playoffs, in fact, when he was going up against Hong Kong Esports. So leaving the counter pick for Ziv. This is what we're expecting. Ziv is one of the primary carries. He played the Gnar yesterday, as you mentioned. Up and available, would also quite fit into this team comp as well. Give you the options to split push, give the options for tank. But do IG really want to go in with a somewhat protect the kid comp? Lulu could be up, Orianna, or Rookie could play the Echo if he wants to.
I'm imagining a pretty aggressive pick here out of Rookie. He did play this 3 times in a row against Doinby in the LPL regional, I guess, loser bracket final to actually qualify for Worlds, and crushed with it all 3 games.
I mean, yeah, Victor's been a big pick for a lot of mid laners around the world, but it's just not, probably not Rookie's favorite thing to do. He can do it, and he's played Rookie once already in the World Championships. Did not go well from there. Team gonna have to play much more around him, and Zatai's got a classic here. Cannon locked in.
Well,
and I don't
hang on.
Ninja is the support.
Zatai or Kitties?
It would be a classic. It makes sense now that the Shen will go top lane, and the Kalista Cannon would be a combo in the duo lane. It was the common combo of Kalista Cannon, so.
And Kitties has played this before, so something he does like. I think playing appeal support's more of Kitty's style as well. And given kids been a little out of position here and there at the World Championships, nice to have somewhat of appeal support there for him.
Whoa, and a throwback too, the Maokai.
Wow.
Finally seen.
Is that the first of Worlds?
Don't think so. I think it's once
other.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was by far and away Ziv's most played and most successful champion during the regular season. This is very much just what AHQ played on patch 5.13 and before. Pretty much whenever the Cinderhulk patch came in, this is the team comp AHQ started playing, and that carried them all the way to MSI and all the way through the summer split, and then the patch changed. A lot of people have said AHQ hasn't been able to adapt well to the new patches. Well, they're just playing the old one.
And I feel the same is true for a lot of the Chinese teams. EDG may be a bit more modern, but I think IG and LGD have run into trouble in drafts playing more dated picks. This is a very classic IG comp from a few patches ago, but with the way the picks line out, Kakar's going to have a very aggressive at least game.
I'm also looking forward to seeing which of these teams' top lane tanks can get ahead. Kalista will take a long time to get through a fed Maokai and Tristana, while she can get rid of a Shen. Similar situation, quite difficult to kill a top lane beefy tanky Shen if they manage to get ahead. So let's see which of these sort of team carries can be the front line that's going to be big enough to pick up a win here in the group. AHQ, they picked up a surprise victory against Fnatic yesterday. Take a look at their team comp. Will they do it again against IG? Jump onto Twitter, hashtag IG win or hashtag AHQ win. I think a lot of the questions for IG's team composition maybe quelled a little bit. This is a more well-rounded team composition, more bland, less flavorful, but it's cleaner, it's easier to understand.
The reason this feels bland is because this is the League of Legends people were playing 2 months ago. Both of these team compositions would have made perfect sense in like week 5 of the regular season, but the game has actually changed since then. And I think this is one of the reasons these teams are sitting at the bottom of the group right now, is because they're playing the old champions. But right now, obviously, if IG wins, they need to win. They would be 0-3 and actually match with LGD as a Chinese team at the bottom of the group, which they don't want to happen.
And on the other side, this is a huge opportunity for AHQ there as well. They surprise comeback win against Fnatic yesterday. If they can win here, they'll be 2-1 and I think second in the group, which is great for them, who probably came in with maybe lower expectations, but have certainly shown up on the world stage so far.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were expecting HQ to actually maybe, I think maybe in some places be stronger because they were so dominant in the LMS because they dropped 3 games all summer long. It was an incredible run. And now we need to see a slightly different flavor. Westdoor not on Fizz for the first time at Worlds, but on, again, a stylistic preferred champion.
And the big question I think AHQ has to answer is that are they a one-patch team? Because as long as the Cinderhulk meta happened, there were many patches in between, but I don't think large sweeping changes really ever affected AHQ. And now all the small changes throughout the regular season, as well as the large changes that happened between 5, 13, and Worlds, ends up in a big change. And AHQ now has to play in this world.
Well, we do start things off with a lane swap, as we do see Arn and Albus going up towards the top. Double jungles will happen as well, as a Westar and a Rookie will face off. You can see Rookie already playing aggressively. He's certainly played this matchup countless times. He's been a big, strong player coming into the tournament. We'll see if he can have a breakout game here.
It's going to be a little difficult for Victor to find opportunities later in the game with the front line of Rek'Sai, Maokai, as well as that Thresh. Flash cleanse for Rookie, Flash Ignite for Westdoor. There are no teleports this game. It's the first one of the day. I believe the 14 mid laners have taken Flash Teleport mid. It's a pretty good win-loss.
Yesterday, Westdoor brought Ignite as well.
Yeah.
Very singular play style when he wants to play here. Ahri, though, is one of the most mage-like assassins. It's a very flexible pick, I would say, because it's not just good at picks. It can also have some strong success in team fights. So even though Westdoor does have a small champion pool, the champions he does pick end up being relatively versatile.
And he's certainly used to getting banned out back home as well, so had to extend it by at least a bit as Kidding Kitties sweeping some minions out here in the bottom lane. See if he's looking to come down now.
Oh, yeah.
The tie, though.
Well, that's 4 people, so unless he leaves now...
Yep.
You did it.
Woo. Very reminiscent of what we've seen in the European LCS a lot. Early tower pressure. Traditionally, though, that top laner might consider returning. This is Zitai to his lane to try pick up a wave.
Yeah, looking at this specific lane swap, though, I actually feel like this favors AHQ because AHQ started in that side of the jungle and was able to clear away most of it, so IG won't have the ability to go and clean this side of the jungle as they're pressuring the turret, whereas the Trist and Thresh on the other side are going to allow Mountain to pick up not only the Scuttle Crab, but also more farm within the jungle. I could be wrong about the actual start of this game, but that's the way I see it right now as far as what they can pick up.
Well, we do see Kid and Kitties hammering away on that tower. Ziv is being starved of resources, but as is Zitai. If I look at that correctly, I think he's holding hands with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I actually have pretty large criticisms of this start from IG from a strategic point of view. If they're going to do the 4-person turret dive, they need to take control early of the 2 quadrants of the jungle that hug the bottom lane. If their play is to be bottom, because they allowed AHQ to start specifically in their jungle, clean out the blue buff and all the assigned things, and now you're seeing Kakao level 2 just now picking up level 3 like 4+ minutes in. Mountain gaining a large experience advantage because of this stuff. And
it's rare for Kakao to make this many pathing mistakes, but again, it's been a tough world for him. He's got kind of 2 styles. You farm a lot or you gank a lot. This one is kind of going to do neither. He's going to have to catch up in farm now after the start from IG.
Well, tried to gank, but setup wasn't there for the gank to even happen. And Kakao, probably the most talked about jungler in many ways coming into this World Championship. So much expectation on his shoulders and criticism of the team and how they play around him. Really enabling him from the LPL, but this time around, strategy didn't pay off. So it does mean the tower trade has been even 1-to-1. It looks like we're seeing a bunch of recalls, so I want to see how the lanes sort of settle down, but as it stands, advantages for HQ in terms of farm.
Certainly is. This Mountain getting quite low, but continuing to hard farm out his jungle. Rookie doing a decent job moving Westar off this wave. This is one of Rookie's specialties as a player. He's an excellent duelist 1v1, and he constantly forces people off waves in mid lane, which is very impressive for a short lane.
And you can see it hasn't even really cost him many resources. He's sitting on 2 biscuits still, has nearly full mana, whereas he's burned Westdoor through all of his potions already with a 13 CS lead, as well as the lane is frozen. Rookie is destroying this lane.
And this is what we expected from Rookie coming into the tournament, so a good start for him, but can he continue it here as we move through the rest of the game? Like we said, he is going to have a big game here.
Yeah, my eyes are also going to be on when An and Kid eventually go toe-to-toe. Because of the early trade and the fact that An wasn't able to pick up a lot of CS, he's got that pickaxe. So the power curve for Kid on Kalista, picking up the Cutlass and then eventually recurve bow, is actually more favorable. It'll be a long time before An can pick up that BF sword. So if they do trade, it can play out. Cacao Mountain want to have a party, but Cocoon doesn't connect.
Yeah. Got to recalibrate that one there for Cacao. His vision will go down. Kitty's actually doing a lot of walking and going back up to the top lane as AHQ looking to descend on the bottom lane because he's a Ty wants assistance. He'll leave the area, but Tristana very good at taking early turrets as well.
Yeah, I think Shen and Maokai are two of the hardest champions to dive in lane swaps, but also IG has sent assistance right now. But they're going to attempt the dive anyway.
Teleport comes in from Ziv. This is a 4v3. Kid is a mile away. The Flay comes out. Zitai manages to get a two-man taunt. Kiddies has backed away. Rocket jump forward from An. He gets himself first blood. And AHQ pull off a beautiful dive. Albus is going to die. I take back. It was not beautiful. It was messy at the end. 1 for 1.
I love Arn's play there, just going straight in on the rocket jump for the dunk. Does hit a tower hit on the back end as well.
I was with you, Quick Shot. That dive was so well executed until he overtanked the turret. It's the strategy that AHQ and the style that AHQ plays through most of the year. Just pile down bottom lane and get on the kill. So everything was working out great until Albus gave one back.
Risky hit for Arn to stay as well, but doing good damage to the turret. Zitai and Cacao going to clear out what they can. But Arn having a good start to this game. He can see Westel, though, forced back all the way to his turret as Kid, busy taking this turret, might get it on this wave, might have to wait for the next one as it arrives.
Yeah, big advantage for IG, though. At least they'll get this additional tower, some additional gold. And his Kid has been left uncontested, sitting on 1,300 gold, as he will now get the support of Kitties. And down in the bottom lane, An and Albus now, they're going in. The taunt actually connects. The death sentence finds Cacao. Tower is still alive. Rappel goes up and Cacao goes out. And that could have gone way, way worse for An and Albus, but they get away unscathed.
Yeah, the Cocoon hit the cannon minion from Cacao, and they were trying to chain the CC with the Shen taunt. Otherwise, that actually may have granted a kill for them onto An. Either way, it gets both summoner spells, and now, because the kill was not converted, they will get the turn.
Yep, An is going to pick that up, so we'll have trades here. Kid still working on the top lane tower, but looks to be going down relatively soon as, yep, there's a couple hit points left.
So trading tower for tower, we heard Mountain use the Void Rush, and they've now set up around Dragon. So AHQ, no waves to really push out. We'll get an early Drake on the board.
Yeah, I have to say, AHQ, strategically and in the side lanes, is winning this game handily. The thing that's keeping IG in this one is Rookie's dominance of the mid lane without any jungle assistance, just winning the matchup substantially.
And it's funny, because we used to look at Rookie and Cacao, even when they were back in Korea on the KT team, and think, oh, their synergy is so good, they just punish mid lane and jungle synergies. I already mentioned, Rookie is an excellent 1v1 laner as well, so all this swapping is isolating him here in this lane and letting him shine. This is what we expected from Rookie coming into the world, and he's finally showing it here against Westel.
He's going to have to show a whole lot more to help bring up some of the pressure from the alternative lanes. But truthfully, it's not really yielded a lot. 6 gold, 6 CS difference between top laners, nothing between 80 carries, with the exception of that kill for An. So still a very, very close, very even game. And quite a slow tempo in contrast to the previous game that we just saw from Origin and KT.
I expected this game, honestly, to be much more aggressive. So the fact that we've gone to a very long lane swap with lots of tower trades is interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how much experience do the teams have in this spot, and what else can they do? Is AHQ looking for Zitai, but he's already backed off.
Yeah, I expect AHQ to continue to push the tempo. They will want to get some roams off from the mid lane. And every time Ziv's teleport is up, I think they're going to be going for a play that centers around An. So I think we're just kind of waiting for these things to come up to get the bloodiness factor back in this game.
I also like them using Tristana to take the tower where Shen currently is. Go to the source of the global, remove the possibility of a counterplay, remove or reduce the likelihood of all of a sudden a stand united gank coming into play. The problem is Kid and Kitties are pushing all the way to the inner turret. Cacao's there for support, so you're going to most likely trade inner turret for inner turret, it looks like, as Ziv's going forward. He's stunned.
Oh, good stun there. Great Cocoon to follow up. Ziv, he's in trouble. Kid's going to get himself a kill.
It just looked too easy.
It was. There were no vision control within their own jungle. The deep wards were there by IG, so they knew it was a relatively safe dive. And they also had a Shen ultimate if anything were to go a little bit wrong with the dive. Nice move there by IG.
Now, this is something I've actually seen before when the teams trade inner turrets so early on. It actually ends up stagnating the next few minutes because the risk of pushing further just continues to grow. We may see the next action maybe around the next Dragon, because you can assume IG will have a rough timer after they lost their tower, and they may be willing to commit to a fight, which is something that both IG and AHQ have shown a penchant for during the regular seasons.
Well, certainly have. As Mountain gets out of the way, Kitty's going to collapse the tunnel. As Mountain goes back to his jungle to farm things up, taking a quick look at that gold lead. Still real even. As Rookie, the only one doing exceptionally in these lanes. Morello Nomicon versus Mark II Hexcore right now.
Yep, and I do kind of want to mention Mountain's play so far in this game. It's pretty much exactly what he said in the future. He will pre-plan his jungle route, use his knowledge of the opponent jungler to out-farm and get strong from farming. And that's...
And build Cinderhulk.
16 CS up. You'll have Cinderhulk, and he has a 400 gold advantage on Kakao, despite Kakao being up a kill.
And Kakao, again, he's also going Cinderhulk, needs to be more of a frontliner for his team. This is not the same aggressive Kakao. It's actually caught Albus. Could be trouble there as the Flay also comes in. Now Stand United's going to follow. The flash is good. Box was good as well, and he will get to safety.
Does manage to get out alive. There's still some pressure in the jungle. Actually, it's pressure in mid. Rookie's going to chase forward, throws down the Chaos Storm, but Westor forced a Spirit Rush away and burns Flash as well. There's now an open mid lane turret.
The mid lane pressure is what IG is trying to work off of. Rookie's advantage. Let's see if they can get anything here.
Well, they're going to start things off here under the tower. Hookie's good on the Kid. Gravity Field's going to follow in, try and zone them out. Mountain does get stung. Kid's forced to flash out.
Well, there goes their pressure right away.
Manages to get away alive at least, but does burn his Flash.
Yeah, so unfortunate move there by Kid, kind of negating the advantage that Rookie had acquired in the lane. And I do kind of want to talk about this group a little bit, because the results of this game could just throw this group into total chaos. Obviously, we have Fnatic and Cloud9 next, which is two 2-0 teams. One team, it's a 2-0 team versus a 1-1
team, correct.
So there's a lot of, Zatai's going teleporting.
Looking for a big play. On, gets away, nice buster shot right in the air. And Zatai's like, okay, I'm done.
Hashtag not worth.
Yeah, so depending on the scenarios, like if Fnatic actually beats Cloud9 and AHQ can win this, we would have 3 2-1 teams within the same group and an 0-3 IG. But if IG also wins this one, there's a potential they're only one game out of first. So anything can really happen still in this group matchup. And IG, it makes this game even more important because they're the ones in danger of falling really far behind.
There's possibilities of multiple 2-1 teams, and there's possibility of multiple 1 and 2 teams. Yeah. Cloud9 could realistically go 3-0 if they keep up this miracle magic run. But before we get there, Invictus Gaming is still holding very, very even with AHQ. And for IG, that's not a terrible thing. They've been really, really poor in their 2 previous games. Down 500 gold at 10 minutes average across their 2 last ones, down 3,000 gold average at 20 minutes. We're now set up for a much more even, much more competitive match against AHQ.
Well, mid lane is going to collect their blues. Westor just barely missing that charm out onto Rookie. His Dragon back in about 30 seconds. We'll see if the teams convert onto it and try and look for a fight. Just bopping down quickly. Thanks for getting somewhat tankier. And a Blade of the Ruin King up for Kid could also give them initiative on the next team fight if there was to be one.
Yeah, Dragon in 20 seconds. If we're going to see a team fight, it's going to be there. Stand United is up on Zatai, and Teleport is up on Ziv. The concerning thing for AHQ is how far behind Ziv is. 25 CS behind, has yet to even complete his initiation item in a Righteous Glory that he's going for. And additionally, Westor is not strong either. Ziv's the guy who carried their win against Fnatic and has been described as a guy who just strictly doesn't lose lane. But because of the way these swaps have worked, he's fallen behind.
Yeah, and that CS discrepancy is also matched by Rookie against Westor. So the 2 primary carries for IG in Zatai and Rookie are ahead. Uncontested Dragon here as IG will even it to 1-1. AHQ show face, but they're simply too late to contest. And
good.
Some golf claps from the audience.
Yeah, good news there for IG, as they will equalize those Dragons. 1 apiece now. They might even look for a fight here. A pick could give them a tower here as they do shove out mid lane, but again, a very much slower game than maybe we expected. And with the way teams have picked, a little outdated, sure, but certainly very safe in how they've approached the game as well.
And of course, because of all the pressure on those inner turrets from 5 minutes ago, the teams are still trying to find a safe lane to farm in. You keep seeing Zitai pushing up the top wave to about the tri-bush, and then he has to back away and let Ziv catch it. You can see in the bottom lane now, An has just gone to catch the bot lane. So we're going to keep seeing these lanes being challenged and pressured. But for AHQ, a small misstep, maybe. No, take it back. IG not going to commit to get tower damage down.
Ari has spectacular wave clear, as does Victor. It's really hard for either one of these teams to get actual turret pressure. And despite the early advantage that Rookie had, Westor is clawing his way back now, even with Morel and Almacan on Ari. So he will be a threat to Kid in team fights as well. This game is very much going to be decided by probably Dragon fights.
And Ziv's also caught up as well. So AHQ all of a sudden back in and actually have 1,000 gold up right now after all those last few movements. Arn does have an item also coming through his mountain. Gonna take away the Raptor camp. 900
of that gold lead is concentrated on Mountain, though. Over Cacao. Rek'Sai not necessarily known for his scaling. So I would say as far as gold distribution goes, the fact that there's mid lane gold on Rookie is slightly more advantageous.
Luckily for AHQ, Mountain's getting a little beefier. Got that Cinderhawk, got 2 Ruby Crystals. Also got the fan support behind him.
Yeah. Very close vote there between the two. Really heating up towards just a big mid-game here. Dragon down, of course, means probably not too much action given the pace of the game so far in the next 5 minutes, but they're going to get tankier. It's going to be very traditional-looking League of Legends here. No big carries, no juggernauts, just play front to back, tanks in front, carries in the back.
So, Pekka and Soaz take us a few years back with double teleports and split pushing, and IG and AHQ take us a few years back to 20 minutes of laning and then team fights to determine the victor.
Yeah.
It's a World Championships, Jack. We're having a history lesson with teams from around the world.
Think of the analogy. So when Origin does it, it's awesome. But when AHQ wants to throw back, it's suddenly boring. What's up with that?
What I do like about it, though, is the team fights are going to get chaotic because everybody's getting to these power spikes. Cacao, wow, you don't have a lot of support. Kitty's has gone in with a slicing maelstrom. The box has gone down, and they've caught Mountain out.
Yeah, Mountain now going to look to that. Kitties will get it as Westor trying to find the flank, but IG get the pick. What else can they get as Rookie eats the charm?
Yes, that's the whole gold advantage just gone. He gets evaporated because of the wave started, and a brawl on the top lane as Ziv interrupted the stand united.
Wow, the flash taunt does connect, or taunt flash rather. Ziv is now running back to lane, just gonna get the siege minion and some sustain. He's even gonna dash forward, but I do think Zitai will run him down.
Oh my god!
The taunt hits the wall! That's a face plant of note. Ziv's gonna look for some more sustain. If a Vorpal Blade goes out, there's more regen from the passive.
W again!
This is fantastic! Sap Magic is not enough. Maybe could have run further away, but Kid was there to close.
That was ridiculous. That was just an absurd fight. It all started, though, because Ziv did want to interrupt the stand united, so that was a continuation of the pick that IG found in the Dragon area. I actually thought that Ziv was just going to get farmed, and then I was like, he could actually escape off of this. This is amazing. And then he actually should have just continued to farm.
I definitely think somebody has to hit that up with a hashtag PTL or hashtag Penta, because that was one of the most interesting top lane duels.
And again, normally the top lane duels are really exciting right now. There's Juggernauts smashing into each other, Soaz is running headfirst into an Olaf trying to fight with Fiora. Instead, it's all the way back to Shen versus Maokai. The fights are long, tedious, but very amusing.
Well, Paisley, 2 minutes until the next dragon. AHQ snuck the first one after the lane swap played into the bottom half of the map and into their favor. Then IG took an uncontested dragon, where AHQ was just a little late. They didn't really show any signs they wanted to fight. I feel like now they will. Look, they've grouped up middle, a minute and a half to go, applying pressure on this outer turret. Victor's waves clear is good, but against 4 members, it's risky.
Yeah, he can't get close enough to use all of his spells there. He's just trying to spam down the turret and the flank.
Good flank. Kitty's here as well. Massive ulti out there from Kennen as the slashing maelstrom pops up. Fate's Called used. Double knockout after the gravity field. Top from Zatai. Mountain goes down. Ziv is low. He will fall as well.
Massive fight right there for IG, and it's because Rookie held out for so long. HQ wanted to take the turret down and then retreat, but they overstayed because they couldn't get the damage down, and it gives time for IG to get around for the flank.
They do manage to get the team fight, they get the tower, and they can even peel back to get some vision around the Dragon Pits. I'm trying to look at wards. Only Sightstone is with Kitties, so a little unfortunate that IG can't get deeper vision. And you can see AHQ's ring just beyond the Dragon Pit into the red buff area of IG.
Yeah, seeing this fight again, the Ken and Kalista combo is awesome, but the Kalista is actually pretty far away at the start of this fight, so Kitties has to do it himself. Finally, when he was about to die, it gets triggered. I love the fact that Rookie also had the presence of mind to put down the gravity field during that to get the double stun. And then Kid, he just gets so rewarded for being so far away at the start of the fight. Double kill at the end.
And I have to say, Zetai Shen, not something we would maybe consider to be a big pick for him. He's much more of a carry player, but I think the fact that he's able to make very obvious plays with Shen and then still be a threat with his split push is actually making quite a difference. Kakal's also nailing these cocoons. So that frontline initiation that saw IG get so much success and set up their carries is finally seeing a bit of play here.
We've not seen any of IG's carries under threat. They are the ones that are dictating the tempo. They're the ones making the aggressive, positive plays, and AHQ are scrambling. The first positive play AHQ tried to make in the last 5-6 minutes was that mid lane push. They didn't necessarily respect or ward their flanks appropriately, and then they got punished for it. So I quite like Kitties. He's playing forward. He's using that ulti very aggressively, and the rest of the team is backing him up when he does.
Dragon does go over to IG now. Masol, that's 2 of 3 here in this game. Maybe that's something they can look forward to as far as win conditions go, but items are really in IG's favor right now. They can just look to fight, although Westor on the other side, certainly not too far behind. The Luden's Echo, very common Aria.
He's really caught up in CS on the Ahri. The person who hasn't caught up, though, is Ziv, and I think that's so core to AHQ's strategies. When they're trying to get ongoing, they really need a big tank to jump in the backline and kind of buy time for Westor to find kills and On to have strong positioning in the backline. As long as Ziv is behind in this game, I don't think AHQ is actually comfortable making aggressive moves.
It's significantly harder for Westor and Ahri to get behind and blow Kid up than it would be on a champion like Fizz or even a champion like Twisted Fate. So positioning is going to be so key. We're still even in gold. You know, we've crested 22 minutes. IG, in their last 2 games, were down 3,000 gold on average. This is a much better performance.
It is, and it's such a deliberate game for both the teams. Never mind, Rookie may be caught. Charm lands! Hook! Oh my god, that cleanse!
And the max charged explosive charge isn't enough to kill, thanks to Zetai making that nice ultimate in right as Rookie needed it most. Jeez.
Certainly did. As they'll now clear out the lane, since they're in mid, and actually Kid's in the top lane. Hopping away, going to clear some things and try and get initiative for IG.
So a little bit of freedom and respite here from AHQ. They know Stand United is down, but they need to try and funnel some farm and some experience to Ziv. There's a 3-level difference between Ziv's Maokai and Zetai Shen. It's 30-something CS, and look at this, 23 minutes in, taking a page out of Origin's book maybe, knowing that, you know, the Void Rush is down, knowing Spirit Rush is down, they're in the dark, and this looks so safe with the Rex side.
Well, this is just
Kalista.
This is much different in my opinion because it's a lack of vision control. They finally figured it out, and this could be a post-Baron fight if they want it, but Ziv does not have the tankiness to engage.
Zetai's sort of on the wrong side now, but they actually are chasing Ziv, I believe, who's trying to get out of things. Kitties has found him, needs the stun. Doesn't quite get the last Q, but and very strong call from IG, much different again from what we've seen. That was an excellent Baron.
Well, this group is getting more and more interesting as IG are finding some stride, and AHQ, can they do it again? They were behind Fnatic yesterday, a little bit earlier in the game, and they managed to claw it back in. And they're going to need a lot of time to get this Maokai to be more relevant and then buy enough time for An to actually get kills. He's going to need to get a Last Whisper. There's already a Randons completed here for Zetai.
Yeah, HQ normally such a bloody team when they play 1 kill in 24.5 minutes is really uncharacteristic. You'd expect them to either be snowballing ahead or taking the fights and losing the game because they're taking the fights when behind. But this is kind of just a completely different feel for them in this match. Really strange watching this game after knowing a lot about HQ.
Yeah, and especially for AHQ's team composition, it's going to be so difficult to deal with these Baron minions. Ahri's wave clear is great, but so much less effective against the Baron-empowered minions. We do see Arnis moved around to this top lane. Charm connects onto Kakao, but no further follow-up. And finally, 5 members of AHQ were in the top half of the map, but Zetai, with Stand United, with TP, he's pushing the bottom lane.
Yep, he's ready in reserve here as IG will go back. They need to make some ground here with the Baron, try and see if they can knock down some towers and get some additional gold. But again, it's really been back to basics here for IG. Pick a very safe, very standard team comp, take your lanes, navigate through the swap, and just play calm League of Legends. It's still a very close game, but IG are keeping the tempo very deliberate.
They really are. And you can see Mountain on your screen. He's got himself a 40 CS lead over his opposite number, Kakao, but that CS is somewhat hurting Ziv. No major item completed outside of that Cinder Hulk, so even Mountain's build path is still yet a little while away from getting some of those additional auras or Randuins or etc. added in.
There'll be a big power spike when Albus gets to his Aegis because of the Spectres that went on to Mountain, really trying to make him a super tanky Rek'Sai. I do want to talk about Kid, though. He's been the beneficiary of some kills in the late parts of this fight, and beyond even at Worlds, Kid takes more criticism in the community than pretty much anyone. Like, if we think the North American and European communities are bad, Kid had a 443 total damage game during the regular season, and the 443 game comes up every single time Kid has a bad performance. So now that he's been able to get 3 kills and IG is down 0-2 in this group, he needs to be able to perform in this game just to fight back at some of that stuff.
QSS has a 3rd item to allow him to deal more than 443 damage in the next team fight. I think that's safe to say. He's been in the right place, and because AHQ have been in trouble, it's gonna work out. Mountain's gonna get stunned up as he actually takes the Lantern to safety. Teleports have come in as Kitties will get pulled back by Fate's Call.
Fate's Call's good, but the tower needs to go down. Kitties pops back out. Tower will fall. Now IG will rush in Ziv. Tank it up at the front line. The Chaos Storm will zone them away. Rookie gonna get the kill.
Yeah, really nice job there by Kitties, flying in and out of the fight, and the rest of IG, because they took AHQ so low, now they all have to back. They thought they could get the push on. Unfortunately, the minion wave did not cooperate.
And IG taking no chances as Mountain, nope.
He wants to interrupt a recall.
Gonna get, no, what? Gets Rookie's charm lands. Cleanses there, but the flash will keep him safe.
Well, that's important. No flash on Rookie. Dragons up in 20 seconds. By delaying the backs, this may allow AHQ to get their hands on the objective.
Really important as well to keep the Dragon race close. The gold is starting to get out of control, but if it's the gold as well as the Dragon snowball, then the late game team fights just become less and less favorable for AHQ. Mountain, though, was maybe trying to get a res deal, probably just some vision control.
Yeah, we'll see. Now all of a sudden, IG have got enough numbers nearby, and AHQ, they've dilly-dallied. They did not rush the Dragon instantaneously and pushed out that bottom lane. They have started it now, but this is close.
It becomes so dangerous as well because Ziv is also not in position. IG actually has superior positioning for this team fight. AHQ's gotta run.
And now IG is gonna try and fight them. They'll take the Dragon first. AHQ forced completely off as the tie looking for something, but he's got no team.
4,000 gold. They've got their 3rd Dragon. They've got 5 towers. A stolen blue buff now as well. Invictus Gaming have got all of the tools they need to start pressuring and closing this game out. Kitty's initiations on Kennen have really been fantastic. Every single time he has gone in, despite it looking a little risky or a little brave, it has always been net gain, net positive for IG.
Specifically that last fight under the turret. Takes a bunch of turret aggro, Kalista pulls him back when he's at a sliver, and then has the confidence to chain CC with the rest of his team, and because he connected with players, bounced back to auto attack range, which put him into safety and he could just escape. So really nice heady play by Kid and Kitties, who have taken so much criticism thus far.
Yeah, I mean, Kalista has been very popular actually at the World Championship, so I'm hoping, especially if Kalista still gets it, we'll see more of this lane. It was kind of a thing for a while, I felt like, and then dropped off, but Kitties and Kids showing that, hey, we can still do this. It's still quite strong.
Yeah, approaching 30 minutes on the clock, and that gold lead staying quite comfy at 4K. We do see the makings of that Randian's Omen for Mountain, and Arn is a little brave. That's the 3rd time I've seen him rocket jump forward onto Zatai, and I just panic because that's a long cooldown. There's the risk of being caught if you're not fully aware. We do see Mountain getting pulled to safety as AHQ have got their entire team in the top half of the map.
And I can't believe how safe IG are playing this game, but I honestly don't blame them, given how the group stages have started for them. One of IG's really wonky strengths, if you will, is actually adapting to the enemy team and either playing your strategy and beating you with it, or playing around you. They're very, with how deep the champion pools go for the top half of the map, they can do a lot of different things. So they know, you can tell with Arn's rocket jumps, AHQ always want to fight, so IG are just doing everything they can to only take fights they can win, if not, back away and just keep playing the map.
Now they're getting vision control of the Baron area, knowing it's spawning in 26 seconds, as well as setting up the split push. So they're really just executing this classic Shen strategy that we really haven't seen much of at Worlds, and using it to strangle out AHQ, who is falling further and further behind.
Strong items there for AHQ. Aegis was picked up, Randians was completed, Last Whisper for Iron as well. So their ability to fight is continuing to grow. My one concern for IG, the slower tempo of this game, the slower pace, is allowing Ziv to get tankier, is allowing Mountain to get tankier. So any mistakes on an IG engage or being caught out of position could and might actually get punished.
And this game sort of rides on this next Baron. Mountain just missing that ward. But really nice Thresh Lantern to get him to safety. Mitaty's in the bottom lane, ulti and TP ready. You know that there can be a fight if they need to, but IG, they know they just have to play around this objective, and if they get it, it should be an easy closeout from that point onwards.
And the objective control is stronger with Kalista, which makes it even harder to respect. Sorry. It makes respecting the Baron a top priority for HQ.
Oh,
I knew where you were going.
Words are hard
I was in a few
sometimes.
sentence traps there.
Well, did manage to save yourself at the end. The Baron dance has begun. If you look at the minimap, you can see Ziv and Zitai. They're still going head-to-head. The Cocoon catches Mountain mid-tunnel, but he's got another one to ride out to safety. And we do see, once again, the Vision Wars trading supreme.
And that should be enough for IG to go ahead and start this. Look at Zitai. He's waiting for a potential port. They do hear Mountain's ultimate, so they might not want to go straight in. In fact, Mountain's checked it, but they're just going for it.
Yeah.
United Dudes are going to
Kalista's
commit
secure. You have to
completely
fight.
to this. And now we'll see what happens. Mountain's going to dive in. Baron actually, oh my god, he stole it! And Mountain gets it. He might get away. Oh, there's a double kill now as IHQ get 3 kills already. They'll chase out Rookie. How did that happen?
It's exactly the mistake that we were saying IG couldn't make. They played the game so slow and so measured up until this point, and then they say, yeah, you know what, we should just do Baron, not control the jungle, not make sure Rek'Sai's gone, and then also not bait out the TP for any reason. They lose the fight afterwards as well, and they're gonna get snowballed on here. I think their inhibitor's gonna die off this.
Unbelievable. We had just talked about the item thresholds that AHQ had hit. They used the Stand United to tank the Baron, and Mountain steals it from under the nose, from under Smite and Rend. That should never happen. But it did.
And now AHQ completely caught back in gold, or pretty much, and are going to keep shoving things down. They did keep their inhibitor turrets, though, did IG, so that's all good.
Well, because of the Baron steal, just heads up, there's a double chance to get a legendary skin for mystery gifting. But
So
let's take a
much
look at the
wrong with
replay.
this. So first off, Kid doesn't even use Fate's Call. Kiddies is getting wrecked, and he doesn't help him throw in. And then, I didn't get to see the Baron health right at the end there,
I was
but
watching the
it was
people.
2,000 something. I think he ended up rending early. I am going to check.
The rest of it sort of continues. Rookie gets himself away, but a great combo there. And AHQ, what's their big strength that we've heard? Team fights and fighting often, and they've got a good, very easy composition to team fight with, and that's exactly what they did in the Baron pit.
Baron was at 2,050 health. Kid rended for 1,800 and then let it smite. Why do you ever rend at a number that high? You know exactly how much the opponent can smite for. 800 damage at this point in the game. Smite in a safe range, 1,500 to 1,000. He smites way early. And, well, he rended way early, and they get crushed.
And Jat, this is why all the criticism has been laid at the feet of Kid.
He panicked because the fight was starting.
Up until this point, the gameplay had been good, and one decision costs them Baron, and it may cost them more. AHQ have closed the gold gap to 1,000. They set themselves up for Dragon, but they may want to peel away. There's the fight!
Yeah, Kitty's going in for it now. Dragon is going to go over to AHQ, but they're going to keep moving in. Ziv taking up so much damage. Mountain, they're charging into the back as well. Kakao is trying to fight. Mountain does fall there as Kid gets the rend off. Kakao, though, caught out of position. On has to rocket jump away. Kakao goes back down. On gets a crit and takes him out of the fight. Now's the tie. He's going to be in trouble. AHQ looking to keep going.
We'll see if they can find anything more. The fight ends up being jungler for jungler, but it could not have been closer. On gets a fadeaway kill, and AHQ get the Dragon as well.
This game is now wide open. Baron still kind of alive, but not a giant advantage from AHQ. They pick up a Dragon, so the 5 Dragon timer is also delayed. IG can, as soon as they can get that, would be 40 plus minutes, 46 minutes. And this is trouble.
Yeah, the tie, big teleport flank there on. Rocket jumps away, but Albus maybe not so lucky. Good juke there. Oh my god, I think he's going to be okay. Zatai, he's still chasing, looking for something.
Don't talk too soon. The charm connects, but here comes Kitties, and they shut down Albus. The rest of AHQ have peeled away, but they got a tower, they got a dragon, they've closed the goal gap, and they've pushed us even later into late game. Frozen heart now for Ziv. He is getting beefy.
Worthy sacrifice for Albus to try and save on. He actually delays his back a little bit to pick up red buff. I wonder if that's going to give the window for IG to actually take some damage. I don't think they caught his recall with the end of that ward, so they don't know how delayed he's going to be to pace.
And running back already, so he's going to be there to defend things as AHQ look to regroup after a couple losses around the Dragon. It's 2-3, by the way, in that objective, so IG do have the lead there if the game is going to go late, which at this point, given how close it's been, how back and forth it's been, it very well may be.
We're 37 minutes in, Pastry. That's starting to get late.
Yeah.
Now that there's a window in the game, I do want to kind of be like, in Kid's defense at the Baron area, they were already losing the fight by the time he decided to rend. I don't think there's any excuse for saving the Fate's Call. He should have popped that as soon as Kitty started taking damage. But as far as rending early, that might be one of those times where you want to be like, yo, Cacao, let's pick a number, 2,000, and go there. And it could have just not been coordinated that way, since a lot of chaos was happening. They were being initiated on, and you can't be mid-fight while still securing Baron, so he tried to rend early. Also a bad call from IG. Still bad play from Kid, but there are reasons that it happens.
Yeah, a little more justifiable, and we can see AHQ putting pressure on the bottom half of the map, getting some wards into IG's jungle, and now they are the ones that are somewhat dictating the tempo of the game. We've seen them push multiple waves for the last few minutes, and it's going to be up to IG to reply.
Yeah, and now their split push is not as threatening unless they can get a major force with the 4 main members. The biggest amount of strength that IG has is Rookie. He's gone the Lichbane build, which is so aggressive. No Zhonya's, but if anyone walks in a melee range of him, he gets to pop him. It's specifically good, I think, against Rek'Sai and Maokai, 2 of the tankier guys who do have to get up close and personal, but can't burst him. So the Zhonya's doesn't need to be a burst guard for him, therefore he goes for a higher damage build.
Victus Gaming still trying to find a foothold in this very even game. 6-5 there in turrets as well, so no real opening as the tie is going to go back as well. Might have an aggressive item on the agenda. Could just be the Sunfire. It's actually Thornmail that he'll finish as the next item. So the tanks get tankier and the carries start to pile on those damage items.
Yeah, I agree with his decision to not go Sunfire there because the split pushing, it doesn't matter how fast he can do it at this point. The Bomby Cinder will give him a little bit. He really just needs the Thornmail to survive through On, who's picked up 4 kills.
Well, we'll take a look at that hit. Even with Randid's Cacao, it's chunked down very heavily by On, IH, Shiv, Whisper, and BT. Very, very scary. Whichever AD carry is allowed to get multiple auto attacks off in a fight could turn the tides. We're coming up to 40 minutes on the game clock.
Yeah, and that next big breakpoint starting to hit as well. Baron in 30 seconds. Dragon will follow about a minute and a half after it. So again, these teams have really taken their time. We've seen a lot of fighting around objectives, and that's about it apart from a few picks. So they're playing safe. Again, a very important win for both sides. For IG, not to go 0-3 to start their group stage, but AHQ actually be positioned very well in their group after their win against Fnatic. So it's an important one. I can understand why they're playing slowly, but the longer the game clock ticks on, the more those mistakes cost you.
Yeah, and I think it's mainly the mistakes that are the problems here, because I think IG does scale a little bit better into the late game. It's just the death timers will continue to grow in time, and IG is showing that they're not playing aggressively or necessarily to their advantages. All of their strength is really going to be channeled into Rookie, and it's kind of bad to have such a singular point of failure within the team.
Yeah, I like the idea of Shen split pushing a little more than Maokai. The Stand United will find combat effectiveness while simultaneously porting in. So if IG or HQ want to start some fun, and obviously you could have a Cannon plus Shen delivery system all of a sudden. AHQ peel away from Baron. It is live. Dragon will be up in 50 seconds. And there are no more inner lane turrets to knock down for HQ. So they have to push all the way up to the inhibitor turrets if they want to be pressuring IG's base.
An example of how close this game is we don't even have an exposed inhibitor. 40 minutes in. First day of Worlds here, games are about 30 minutes long. This is a throwback in a lot of different ways. It's an older patch, also it's a slower game.
Well, Mountain's going to go back. He's going to continue being tanky. The Cinderhawk Rek'Sai, pretty massive. Ziv actually, I think, just got Spirit Visage as well, so 3 tank items now there. I mean, Rookie's also getting stronger on the other side. Perfect Hexgog being added in with a Void Staff on the way. Full damage for the IG mid laner.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because if West or On get caught by a Cocoon, by a Cannon Stun, by a Taunt, Chaos Storm and Death Ray will disintegrate them. There is simply nothing that will remain. So for Rookie, the amount of damage is built up, sitting on a ludicrous amount of AP, 795 versus the 458 of Westall.
Yeah.
He just needs to have somebody in place for half a second to a second, and that's it, they'll be done.
Yep, Rookie's also gone cooldown per level on his runes, so he's very, very close to 40% CDR with just the Morel and Omicron. It begins. Another Baron.
Well, let's take a look. This one looks scarier. The death sentence connects, but it's on Zitai. Slicing Maelstrom is out. The box goes down, as does the gravity field. If it's an AoE, it's for me. That's it. Is down. Kitties is the one that secures the kill. AHQ are in full retreat. They managed to take down Ziv. Albus follows shortly thereafter. It's only Westall and Mountain left, and Mountain will get run down. 4 members of AHQ killed by IG.
And Rookie's damage was absurd. You mentioned it right before it happened. He blew up on who couldn't get out of that. Zatai and Mountain gonna have a battle. All Zatai needs to do is buy some time as they have a flare off there. Zatai, very colorful player. And gonna buy time because IG just shoving down mid.
Yeah, this looks like IG actually wins the game off that one fight. Some mistakes in that fight on QSS before the taunt. It's so crucial.
20-second death timers. Invictus Gaming, 0-2 before this game. They will pick up their first victory against AHQ and keep their playoff hopes alive.
And Rookie, the man we wanted to watch for all worlds long as Kakao chucks a trademark grin up on the screen. He did so much damage. We have seen carries drop very swiftly today between Mordekaiser Qs and really big Victor ultis. It was a very long game. They only needed one fight, but they got it. Invictus Gaming, keep the dream alive.
I'm just a little bit in shock because On had played so well for the majority of this game, and then as a taunt is traveling towards him, it's much like what Kami did in day one. He's preemptively trying to cleanse the CC, and he used his QSS before the taunt, which then, obviously the full damage Victor can completely wreck him. He had flash up, so he could have QSS flashed aside, and actually, HQ would have been in position to have a great fight. But those are the tiny mistakes that can cost you a chance here at Worlds. Because of that, IG takes this incredibly close to aim and snowballs it through to kill the Nexus.
That's what we talked about. It was the mistakes that the individual players or the decision-making that cost major swings in this game. That Baron could have changed everything for AHQ, but slow pace, much slower than we're expecting, almost non-traditional from both teams in many ways. And it's IG that comes out ahead. 42 minutes on the clock.
And again, I can't blame IG for the way they're playing. It does worry me after 1 week of groups that, apart from EDG, and even then with some of their picks, that the Chinese teams do seem to be playing some outdated picks, or at least comfortable picks that maybe don't fit the meta as much, but IG, they had to play this way.
Well, look at AHQ.
It's because they know how they lost. They know how close this game was. And AHQ had so much momentum from their comeback against Fnatic, and based on the way this was going, they thought they were going to be able to do it again. But maybe if he QSS's that Shenton, they can win the fight. Maybe not. But the fact that was a non-flashed Shenton, that is something that should not beat you as a world-class AD carry. It shouldn't connect, and B, you should QSS it afterwards. But the fact that he QSS'd it preemptively, it's thrown the whole team into disarray, you can see.
Yeah, nobody, they're still sitting, only just starting to leave the stage now, moments ago, and heartbreaking for AHQ. After getting honestly embarrassed by Cloud9 on day one, then pulling off a massive win against the favorites Fnatic yesterday, to lose, it's such a heartbreaking loss. It does mean IG do get a win, though, so this is very positive for IG.
It's
1 and 2 in the group.
It's a massive win for IG because this group is wide open right now. Initially, the thought in this group was like, oh, it's a 3-horse race for first place, and Cloud9 is going to finish 4th. But Cloud9 is atop the group. Anyone can still do anything
If
here.
Cloud9 beats Fnatic in the very next game, they are 3-0, and the other teams are 1 and 2. It then becomes a 3-horse race for second place, which is something nobody expected coming into this. There is so much riding on the
old
very next
switcheroo.
game. It's mind-boggling. And if you step even further back, LGD are now 0-3 in groups. IG rather 1 and 2, and then EDG 2 and 1. Not really what we were expecting.
No, not at all.
No. So, anyways, on that note, we're going to head to the interview lounge. You can take a look at Invictus Gaming's very first win.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm joined here by IG Cacao after finally a victory for Invictus Gaming. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Tell me about this game. You guys came in 0-2, and this was a very decisive game, yet it was so incredibly close, rather. What are your thoughts on the way you guys ended up playing?
이번 경기 이제 2패를 아는 상태에서 매우 중요한 경기인데 유리하게 시작했음에도 불구하고 바론 스틸로 좀 살짝 어렵게 경기를 풀어봤습니다. 이번 경기에 대해서 간단히 평가해 주세요.
초반에 되게 싸움을 많이 이겨가지고 저희가 무난하게 이길 줄 알았는데 초반 그 이득에도 불구하고 바론 스틸을 당해가지고 좀 비벼지나 싶었는데 마지막 한타에서 잘해가지고 이긴 것 같아요.
We thought this game would be pretty easy because we were pretty ahead in a lot of small fights, but the Baron steal it hurt a lot. But we managed to win the last team fight and close the game.
I hear you mentioning that you thought the game would be pretty easy once you were into it. Did you have any of those thoughts as well when you were facing Fnatic on day one and then Cloud9? And how did that match up to what you were expecting of those games?
그럼 그 이전 경기 프나틱과 이제 신현 경기할 때도 좀 어떤 기대치를 갖고 경기를 했고 그 뒤의 결과에 대해서 어떻게 생각하는지 말씀해 주세요.
유럽이나 C9이랑 경기할 때는 저희가 싸움을 걸라고 했는데 그쪽에서 되게 싸움을 안 걸고 타워 위주의 운영을 하시더라고요. 그래가지고 저희가 오늘은 좀 저희가 걸고 싶을 때 걸 수 있는 조합을 들고 나와가지고 저희 스타일대로 하니까 이긴 것 같아요.
So for the two previous games, we were trying to keep on picking fights, but they kept on like avoiding those fights and win the game through like game management and based on the towers. So for this game, we tried to base on our composition, so we can actually make the fights when we wanted to, and that's how we were able to win the game.
I also noticed that you were very, very aggressive this game, something you weren't as much in the previous ones, when in Korea you were known as being one of the best and super aggressive junglers. How come you haven't always been able to play that game?
카카오 선수 이전에 한국에서 활동할 때부터 이제 최고의 공격형 정글러라고 이제 평가를 받았었는데 이번 대회에서는 되게 소극적인 챔피언이랑 플레이를 많이 보여줬습니다. 그 이유에 대해서 간단히 좀 생각을 말씀해 주세요.
저희 팀 자체가 초반에 무난하게 넘기고 좀 한타를 보는 성향이 짙은데 그래가지고 저희가 스카너나 그라가스 같은 챔피언을 좋아하거든 저희 중국 선수들이. 그래가지고 팀에 맞춰주면서 그런 챔피언을 뽑은 거고요. 이번에는 좀 제가 공격적으로 하고 싶다 해가지고 앨리스를 뽑게 됐어요.
Our team likes to focus on the late game, just like farm early, mid game, and then focus on the late team game. So that's why I try to pick like champions like Skarner and other like very solid champions. But for this game, I just told my team that I want to pick my old like aggressive play style, and that's how I picked Elise.
And that worked super well for you guys, finally. From 0-2 to 1-2, that means you guys still have a future in this group. And you, Cacao, you finally made it to the World Championship. What are your thoughts on how this group is going to progress in your chances?
2패를 안고 시작했음에도 불구하고 1승 함으로써 이제 8강에 이제 살짝 희망이 보이기 시작했는데 되게 어렵게 진출한 월드 챔피언십 만큼 좀 앞으로에 대해서 어떻게 이제 진행할 예정인지 말씀해 주세요.
어제 푸나틱을 AHQ가 잡아줬잖아요. 그래가지고 저희가 AHQ를 이기고 푸나틱이랑 한 번 더 해서 이기면 저희가 올라갈 수 있다는 희망을 가지고 AHQ 턴에 임했거든요. 그래가지고 저희가 오늘 이겨가지고 다음 경기에도 꼭 이겨서 8강 올라갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
So since AHQ beat Fnatic yesterday, I thought if we beat Fnatic today, there would be a little bit of hope for us to go to the quarterfinals. So since we won today, we're going to try hard to win our remaining games.
Well, you won one here already. Thank you very much, Cacao, and congratulations. As for us, we're going to go back over to our guys and our dudes over at the desk.
Thank you, Shox. A necessary win there for IG in order to keep their quarterfinal hopes alive. Coming to you first, Yamato. Let's take a look at the steps they took to ensure a victory here in this game.
I feel like what I thought they would do was play around Rookie, play around Zetai, but they took the different approach to kind of cover up their weakness in the bot lane. Pick one of the strongest bot lanes in the game, and the Shen and the Lees kind of set them up for success.
Well, that said, they didn't fully cover their weaknesses, right? Because at that crucial Baron steal, there's really not an excuse to lose a Baron when you have the Ren stacks on there from the Kalista. He seemed to not know the right calculation, allowed Mountain to sneak that smite in there, and that's what nearly lost them that game. Not to mention he just team fought very poorly in the ensuing fight afterward.
He didn't even ult.
Yeah, he didn't even ult.
He didn't ult. So still mechanical misplays there on the side of IG. We saw some as well, though, for AHQ. One crucial one being the early QSS on the Shen taunt, which wasn't even flash. Crumbs, I know you have a bone to pick there.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you're not allowed to happen. Like, you cannot make those mistakes when you are playing a hyper carry. Like, you are the sole damage of your team when you are built around you. You have Maokai, Rexa who are building tank. You know, you're eventually going to get a Zeke's Herald. When you put so much to one specific person, maybe the pressure gets to you and you're unable to perform at the level that you have to. I mean, a play like that, it's actually better. Instead of flashing out of the taunt, you get taunted, QSS, flash out, all of a sudden, Shen's in a really poor position. You mow him down, and then you win the fight because of that. But that just didn't happen at all. And even during the laning phase, I really didn't enjoy watching AHQ just lose lanes kind of passively.
All right, well, so with this game, we have multiple teams at 1 and 2 now, both AHQ and IG. We'll see what happens in the Cloud9 versus Fnatic game, but it makes this group very interesting. And so given the fact that these two teams that just played might be in a race against each other to move up that ladder and fight for the second spot in the game, what do they learn from this game looking into their rematch that'll come next week?
Well, I think that next week, actually, all that we've learned this week is going to be useless. I think it's going to be even wilder, and trying to predict what's going to happen, I think they're going to even come up with new metas to the whole thing, because I think the interview was very telling as to the mentality that IG had. I mean, we're sitting here criticizing Kid and Kitties, all right, ignore them, like play around your other strengths. They're doing the opposite. They don't even see it that way. They just see it as, let's help them even further. And obviously, it's a nice approach, but we were wrong in that, and it's cool to see it come to fruition like that.
And coming into this, no one really knew what 518 was, right? We've seen all these teams sort of suss out the patch, suss out each other's strengths on this patch. But now, going into the second round robin, you've got several days to actually buckle down, really look at the film, and start preparing new picks and counter picks. So I'm not sure it's going to make a big difference, what we saw this last week.
I feel as well, speaking of AHQ, in this particular game, they didn't really give Ziv that much responsibility. I think they should have given him more responsibility. The Maokai, it's a very generic pick. You can't really do bad or good. It's like, Maokai does what Maokai always does.
Especially given his past performances so far in Worlds, you would expect him to be able to perform on a slightly more diverse champion. Well, in just a few minutes, Cloud9 will go up against Europe's #1 squad, Fnatic. So, again, the question is, EU got the better of NA last time, OG versus TSM, but this time around, who's greater, EU or NA? Crumbs, we're starting with you.
I'm going with Cloud9, and that's not because pride or whatever. I actually looked at it, and in the first 2 games that Fnatic had, there was a key trait that was they're really good at punishing the strength of a team. So in the game against IG, they shut down Zitai with the Shen, with the counter pick in the top lane. Then the game that they had against was it AHQ? Yes, they were very good at shutting down their strengths again. So with Forbidden really snowballing off the mid lane, it was very impressive. But they're not that good at punishing the weaknesses of a team. So when Cloud9 played against AHQ, they shut down Mountain with the bans, put him on Rengar, bam, game's over. When Cloud9 played against IG, at 13 minutes, they had the tower and a 30 CS lead in the bot lane. At 13 minutes with Fnatic versus IG, they didn't even have first blood. CS was even, and they only got the kill with a TP play at 14. Like, they really need to step up their game in punishing the weakness and really being able to take an advantage off the weakness of Cloud9, which at the moment is balls. But Huni, in the 2 victories from Fnatic, didn't really have a big impact. 1 victory, by the way.
All right, moving on. Monte Cristo.
I agree with some of what Crum said, but I think this is the game where we see the problems with Cloud9's group push, fast push strategy. Get wave clear if you're a Fnatic, and then pick a strong split pusher. When they group, you punish them by splitting in the side lanes. Fnatic's the team that can do that. This is where I think Fnatic wins.
All right, and finally, Yamato.
I have to say that I'm going to go with Fnatic simply because in the past they've shown they're really good at bouncing back. I think the game against AHQ, they had a good advantage, but it was very sloppy play that kind of threw it away.
All right, there you have it. The battle for the Atlantic gets underway in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
But right now, obviously, if IG wins, they need to win. They would be 0-3.
Feds called use double knockout after the gravity field. Top from the tie. Mountain goes down. Ziv is low. He will fall as well. Feds calls good, but the tower needs to go down. Kitties pops back out. Tower will fall. Now IG will rush in Ziv. Tank it up at the front line. Mountain's going to dive in. Paradox. Oh my God, he's stolen. And Mountain gets it. He might get away. Oh, there's a double kill now.
Kitties is the one that secures the kill. AHQ are in full retreat. They managed to take down Ziv. Albus follows shortly thereafter. Invictus Gaming, they will pick up their first victory against AHQ.